Pink ladies, T-birds, just happen to be watchers of my shit. My name is JImmiPynk, and no Versace's, no geesh. Damn, that was a bad tongue pop. This is just unabridged, unedited. I'm just going for what I know, because to be perfectly honest with you, I like getting dressed up in geesh to do reviews, but what is the point in me putting all that on if we not getting no Versace's? So fuck it, we'll do it live. So we start off in Minneapolis a week before last week's episode, which was the Lee Maglin murder. And I know a lot of people are watching this show that are not familiar with the story at all, even though every chance you look, the real stories is now, you know, coming out because they know, like, the show is popular. But we come in and we see Andrew come in, and he's talking to his, we're assuming boyfriend at this point, because he's like, can we just get past what happened last week? And we said some things, and he's like, well, I meant everything I said. And then we see, well, the doors, we already know at this point Andrew is creepy as hell. But understand, at this point in the timeline, he had not killed anybody yet. But we all know he a little fucking crazy, and these people do too. So he goes and he says, since the other guy that answered the door keeps tying the dog up, David, first and foremost, before I get into it, because there's going to be a lot of times in this that I got mad. Not because I thought the storyline was bad. I thought the storyline was fantastic. It's just that we do not know what really happened. This was a story, and this is a fictionalized account. This was a story crafted out of small details that were known about these murders. Spoiler alert, but why are you watching this if you didn't see it? We didn't know what happened to these murders. I mean, we know the murders, we know, you know, some of the events, but not a lot, so they had to make a story out of that. So they make it that the best friend and the boyfriend were secretly fucking with each other. And I don't think that was a fact, or at least not one that has been confirmed anywhere. All three parties are dead. Ooh, spoiler alert for those of y'all watching this didn't know Andrew Cunanan is dead. Again, it is, I'm not saying spoiler alert on shit that you can look up on Google. Like, this is based on a true story. Y'all know what happened. Y'all can find out what happened. I ain't spoiling shit. But he comes in and, hi, Dandy Mott. Glad we got to see you for all of 2 minutes before your whole face got beat in with a hammer. Savage. First 5 minutes of the episode. Shooketh already. I'd be remiss to say I don't think that's because they're getting a lot of flack, and even with my own reviews, I seen what the numbers were of how many people were watching my reviews, and then last week's episode that did not have the Versace's in it at all did not get the same amount of views. This is another episode without the Versace's, and I am seeing people on Twitter are pissed off. To be fair, on a side note, the title is misleading, because if you're going to put Versace in the title and you are making that the prevalent image, you are making Versace the biggest word in this logo, you're doing the Medusa head in this logo, you are misleading people into thinking that this story is about Gianni Versace, and it's not. The story is about Andrew Cunanan, the man that killed Gianni Versace. But if they would have said American Crime Story, Andrew Cunanan, how many of y'all would have watched it? Because a lot of you that are younger that weren't born at that time wouldn't even know who Andrew Cunanan is. He's not even as famous of a serial killer as other serial killers, even though he was a serial killer and he killed fucking a titan of industry and a world famous designer, and still does not. When they talk about the serial killers, you'll hear about Charles Manson, and you'll hear about Ted Bundy, and you'll hear about, what's the motherfucker that was from Ohio? He was killing all gay people too, but he was killing the gay people and eating them. Jeffrey Dahmer, But you don't really hear about Andrew Cunanan. So most people wouldn't have watched the show if it would have been called Andrew Cunanan. But make no mistake, Darren Criss is the lead character. Make no mistake, he is the focus of the show. Now, the part that is true is that they do know that his boyfriend David did stay alive for 6 more days, was with him, was in the car with him. The walking the dog story is true. And that he actually ended up being killed near a lake by Michigan. All of these things are true. One of the things that I have noticed, which is something Ryan Murphy is actually well about, is creating allegory. And making a point. I asked this on Twitter and a couple people answered me and I said, damn, that's fucked up. I'm like, why is he always got gay paraphernalia at the crime scene? And 2 different people said because they knew if the cops seen it had something to do with a gay person, they wouldn't be looking that hard. That's terrifying. But also at the same time, when little black girls come up missing, you might see a flyer at the post office and little white girls come up missing like John Bonet, you get fucking national coverage. So, you know, George Carlin once said, there are only 4 groups of people in America that have really been fucked over. Gays, women, blacks, and Jews. Of course, that was before we have issue with immigration, Mexicans, and people of and Muslims. We can add them to the list now. But at this time, yes, definitely. One scene I really want to discuss, and this ain't going to be that serious of a review because I think the episode really speaks for itself. I thought it was really well done, but I had to remember it was in a fictional account because there were so many times the way that they crafted the story, it would be like, well, David, damn, do you want to live? What is you doing? You playing this all the way wrong. Well, you need to call the police. Did you call the police? Well, maybe you can call the police and say I wasn't home so I don't have anything to do with it. Or, you know, going off on him and confronting him about his lies, being in public places and not going and screaming as loud as you fucking could. Or, but these are fictionalized accounts. And I had to remember that. However, they were implying that there may have been some Stockholm Syndrome there. But the scene that I really want to talk about is the scene where they're in the bar and Amy Mann is singing Cars. And David goes to the bathroom and breaks out the glass in the window. And I think it was heavily implied that Andrew was moved to tears by the song because of what the song was saying. That he knew when that dude went to the bathroom he wasn't coming back. He knew that. Fictionalized account, of course. He knew that dude wasn't coming back. So he breaks the window out and he goes, and they show him looking out the window. And again, because we do have this gay subplot and how taboo it was in the 90s and how gay people were treated in the 90s, and still are, but the visibility is definitely different and the acceptance is definitely different. You know, it's referred to a lot. The cops ask, well, did he have a girlfriend or anything? No, he gay. And they look at each other. They more concerned about the damn dog than who got killed. They saying dumb stuff. Well, oh, the dude had black hair, well, then this must be Andrew Cunanan. Oh, well, it's his house, so he must have did it. I'm like, is y'all gonna get fingerprints? Didn't y'all just get a warrant to get all that shit? But we seen the situation where he did come out to his dad. And his dad, you know, who was the MVP of the episode, basically, like, you know how I feel, I don't believe in this, but at the same time, too, I love you more than life itself. And it said, did you wait to win an award to tell me that? Because, like, he was almost offended, like, okay, well, yeah, I understand why you would be scared to tell me because I don't believe in that, but you are my son and I love you regardless. And how dare you wait this long to tell you? Like, the dad was really the real MVP. And let's keep it 100. A lot of times, parents know. They just be in denial. We also were shown that even as a young person, like how somebody being killed right in front of him would have affected him, because when his dad took him hunting, like, that was just not the tea for him. Like, I can't see nothing, no living animal die. Obviously, he had a dog. He was concerned for the dog. So, but that window and the way he looks out the window, and at first glance, it'll look like he was looking out the window trying to plan where to go. But really what it was is, in his mind, he was like, they already know this body. They already think I got something to do with it. Everybody knows I'm gay. They judging me anyway. Where the fuck do I got to go? And then he comes back and grabs Andrew's hand. Fucked up thing about it is that was damn near a touching fucking moment. To think that you could sympathize almost equally with the serial killer, and just as a gay person for just being an outsider, period. That juxtaposition was something fucking else, Ryan Murphy. Slow clap of the episode. That was something else. The memory of him running, when he finally does get killed, and he running to that house on the lake, hence the title, and it made it seem like he actually made it there. And when he got there, he was there with his dad, sharing a cup of coffee, because his dad told him when he was a kid, you know, when they went to Justin Timberlake's Super Bowl performance, that it's okay, son, and I enjoyed the coffee. It was just showing that his dad was always very accepting of him anyway. Even when the cop said, well, there's a lot of things you don't know about your son. Dad already knew he was gay. He already knew where you was about to go with that. It don't fucking matter. I know my son would not be the type of person to do this. And I know my son wouldn't be the type of person to do it because my son couldn't even fucking hunt. It all tied up very, very nicely. But that was touching, and to realize that those was just like, he knew he was going to die. And then was just like, this is what I wish would have happened. But that ain't what's happened. Something else that's really, 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 really fucked up is that, yes, Andrew Cunanan was a fucking monster with some serious fucking mental issues. He was a sociopath. He was a psychopath. But taking into consideration, that man would have lived. I just believe in the real story. Something happened and he snapped it. He tried to escape and he caught him. All this cockamamie shit that he was still... I think he was playing, they made it look, I'm like, you doing the dumbest shit ever to play along. In real life, he made it 6 days. He was playing along. He probably got killed by that lake because he probably was just, something happened that he really did try to make a run for it. My opinion. But that don't make for an interesting story. But this episode was very, very, very well done. I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Obviously, I'm dressed for Riverdale. I'm going to try to get that out for the last episode and this current episode because I didn't review last week's episode, so I'm gonna try to do a double of that, and then next week maybe we'll get the Versace's back. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons, to my subscribers, Pink Ladies and T-Birds. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Just throwing out there for anybody that really watches my channel like that. Once Upon a Time is done after season 7, so we'll be doing that in March. And oh shit, I ain't got all that. So there's merchandise for sale. My Patreon, Instagram, all of that is in my links below. My album is for sale. All of that is in links below because this is a quick, unedited version video, and none of that shit is in the video. I just realized that, so I actually have to say it. So thank you so much for watching. Deuces.
Kamehameha attack is blazing, I'm so amazing. Japanimation, the anime on your cartoon station. So fulfilling, no adults swimming for about an hour. Revealing power, unorthodox amongst these cowards. Full transformation for Optimus Prime transformation. A good vibration from Rumble Pack.